Hey, so as you've seen by the title, I've decided to quit everything and move back to France. And this is a video about that. So I kind of made some bullet points about the things that I wanted to talk about. First of all, probably the reasons why I'm leaving the UK, sort of my general experience and what's next. What does that mean for the future of this channel? And all that stuff. I think there's going to be quite a lot of rambling on for me. So if you want to grab a cup of tea or, I don't know, a drink, whatever, and just chill with me. We're gonna chat. You and I are gonna chat. So I do not know where to start. It's really hard to sort of put things into words. I've been living in England for 8 years, so that's a massive amount of time. I moved here when I was 21, and now I'm 28, going on to 29. So I spent almost all of my 20s here. So that's kind of not scary, but I don't know. I wonder, like, maybe if I should have done something else. I mean, I'm not going to go down that route really, because you could always argue that you could have done something else and maybe it would have been better, but also it could have been worse. But I'm kind of happy that I went through this experience, because I don't know, I feel like in your 20s that's where you do the most growing up. I mean, I say that, but I don't know what the 30s are like or the 40s, but I feel like so far this is the decade in my life where I've done the most growing up. As for the reasons why I'm leaving, there are many of them. A lot of people ask me if it's about Brexit, if it's because of the political climate. I don't think it is. I wouldn't say that Brexit has had a huge impact on my life. I mean, I don't know. I think the reason why I don't see the impact as much is because I live in Brighton. Brighton, it's like my second home right now, I feel, you know? Like, this is where I've lived for the entire time while I was in England. Brighton being quite an open-minded city, town, whatever you want to call it, I didn't really have anything like racism or people telling me to go home or whatever. I don't even think the majority of people were in favor, in Brighton, were in favor of Brexit. But I think the main reasons were, professionally speaking, so in case you didn't know, so in the last 5 years, so the first 3 years in Brighton, I was studying at university, so I did my PGCE. My first year actually was my exchange year. I did Erasmus, and then after that I did my PGCE, which is a teacher training. And there's definitely a video I want to do about this, because that was the shittiest year of my life. I'm going to swear a bit on this video, but I'm going to try to tone it down. But it was the worst year of my life. After that, I did my MA in linguistics, and then I worked for 5 years. And in total, I worked for 6 years, but I started working when I was doing a master's, but it was like a student job. It wasn't anything meaningful. I was a support worker in a care home, in a home for adults with autism. And then after that, so my main jobs, like the jobs I actually wanted to do, not that I hated working with autistic people, but it wasn't really what I was studying for anyway. So I worked as a language assistant in 2 different schools, and essentially what it entails is to do conversation classes. So yeah, just speaking practice and helping students sort of prepare themselves for their overall exams, for their A-levels, and also French IB, so International Baccalaureate. And I also taught in the evenings, so I was technically, I mean, I was a teacher, but the job title is evening tutor. And I was teaching adults, which was amazing. I love teaching adults. They're like the best public. Is it public in English that we say? Audience, public, anyway, group, age, I don't know, people. They're the best people to teach, because they're really keen. They pay to attend your lessons, so you know they really want to do it. You know, if you didn't want to do something, you wouldn't spend money on it. And I've had, I don't know, such a great time. And bless my last group, like they gave me a mug and we went to a pub and have some burgers, and I'm gonna miss them a lot. It makes me a bit emotional because there's a phrase we say in Portuguese, I can't remember, where is it, French? I don't know. But basically it says, you know where you're leaving, but you don't know what you're gonna have after. And that's, the unknown is stressful. I lost track of what I was talking about. I told you I was going to ramble on. I hope you're still with me. What was I saying that? Yes, and then I just felt that I wasn't really progressing professionally speaking. I mean, I could have. It's not that there wasn't any opportunity for me to do so, but it's just that I realized that as much as I love teaching, and I would still love to teach occasionally, I don't think it's something that I would like to do full time. Many reasons. It's not so much the teaching in itself. I don't know, maybe it is a bit, but I think the main reason I never taught in a school, aside from when I did my teacher training, is that I hate the admin. It's just full of bullshit. Like, there's lots of things that are absolutely dumb, stupid to do. Like, I feel like teaching is about teaching, not doing paperwork, not having to tick boxes. I don't know. I just felt like teaching in England anyway, I don't know for other countries, but teaching in England is not really about teaching so much. It's about ticking boxes. That's the phrase that comes up very often when I talk to teachers about their experience with teaching, is that it's a lot of box ticking, and that's really sad. And that's not something I enjoy. Like, it just kills the fun out of teaching, so didn't want to do that. And then I had a shit experience during my teacher training, so that's sort of a big element or a big reason as to why I didn't get into teaching. But still, I didn't feel like I would enjoy it. Yeah, I don't want to sort of expand too much on that because that's going to be quite long and maybe a bit boring for you to hear about. But yeah, and something else, another reason was that I never really felt English or British. It's hard to explain. I would never be like a native English person, obviously. First of all, because people remind me every time I speak to them that I have a foreign accent when they ask me, where are you from? So you always are reminded that you're a foreigner, essentially, even though I'm pretty much, what's the word? Not immersed, but integrated into British culture, because I know the culture very well. Like, it's where I've been living for 8 years. But I never really felt that sense of belonging. But it's not just people, asking you, being, sort of like, doing microaggression. It's not really that big issue for me. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like during the lockdown, I did a lot of thinking, and I just feel like it's time for me to go home, really, to get closer to my family, like, I don't know anyone, I mean, I don't know for you guys, but I feel like at the end of your 20s, you kind of realize that you're going to die one day. That's really depressing, I'm sorry, but that's an honest video. And my parents are going to die eventually. My grandparents, I mean, I only have one left now, are going to die, and I need to make the most of them. And being far from them makes it more difficult for me to see them. And I feel like right now my priority is my family and being with my family. And also I miss Paris a lot. Like, it's the city I grew up in. And I miss a lot of things about Paris, like, and France in general, just being able to speak French on a daily basis. I mean, I love England in so many ways. I do not hate England, by no means do I hate England, but I do miss France a lot. And I don't know, sometimes you just want to, I don't know, I feel like I just want to go back home. It's really hard to explain. It's just like a feeling. It's not anything I can sort of put into words easily, but I just have that desire to go back home, go back to my roots, really. And also, speaking of roots, as you might know, I'm also Portuguese. And no, I'm not 50% French or 50% Portuguese. I'm both. They just overlap completely. There's no percentages. Anyway, that's because I was born in France, but my parents are Portuguese. But you can't say I'm 100% Portuguese because I'm very much French as well. Anyway. So, and I feel also like reconnecting with my Portuguese roots and family, because I never lived in Portugal. I would always go there on holiday, and I speak the language. So it's not like Portuguese culture is, estranged for me, I think you can say in English. But I miss it. I want to sort of explore my Portuguese identity a bit more, just kind of, yeah, reconnect with my culture. I think that's something I've been wanting to do for at least the last 2 years, I think. And I feel it in my core, you know, like I want to feel Portuguese again. And I felt like in England I lost the Portuguese aspect of me because I'm known as the French guy more than the Portuguese guy. Like a lot of people don't realize I'm even Portuguese. And I know it might sound like a bit sort of like snowflake. I mean, I don't feel like a snowflake, but I think some people will take it as that. But identity is a weird thing, especially when you're raised in two cultures. It's very easy for one of the cultures to be sort of erased. I guess that's Portuguese is my minority culture, and because French was so prevalent in my life, it kind of took over. And now that I'm in England, oh sorry, my leg is asleep. And now that I live in England, then all my cultures, French and Portuguese, are sort of lessened, like they take less space. So that means that proportionally Portuguese takes less space. Does that even make sense, what I'm trying to say? I think it does. So yeah, so that's another reason. I think I've covered all the reasons. There's another reason, to be fair. Like, I've had this channel for 4 years and 4 months, I think, or 5 months. 5 months, that's it. That's a long time. I've been a YouTuber for almost 5 years. I mean, it's not going to be long before 5 years, but I just felt like working got in the way of me sort of working on my channel, and I feel like that's something I want to have a shot at, which is to go full-time YouTuber. I don't know how long I'll do it. I don't know if it'll work, but I really feel like in life it's all about trial and error. And yes, it might fail. I'm not too worried about this. I feel like if I don't try now, I will never try. And when I go back to France, I'm going to be back at my mum's, so I won't be paying rent. Not that I'm poor or anything, but I mean, I'm not rich, but you know what I mean. I just feel like that will give me the space to focus on my channel, and I'm really excited about this. I want to start putting out more videos. I want to be able to do more things, more projects. There's so many things I want to do on YouTube, not just videos, but it would be a bit long to maybe explain, but I'd like to create a French podcast for intermediate to higher level learners, maybe beginner, but that would be for even later. And I'd like to also make my YouTube channel a business, but I don't want to make it a business like, you know, ripping off people. You know, I want to sell something that really has value. And I can't wait to try and, you know, even fail. I can't wait to fail, actually. I don't know how to explain, but I feel like there's something. I was watching a video from a French YouTuber. If I remember, I'll link it in the description box below. Oh, I think that was maybe on YouTube. I can't remember. No, I think that was a video. Anyway, so I really want to give a go at failing things, making mistakes, because I really feel like if you don't if you don't do anything, you don't make mistakes. That's kind of obvious, right? But if you do things, you will make mistakes, but you might do good things, and there might be positive outcomes in what you do. So I really want to try. Like, I really feel passionate about trying something, and hopefully something you will like. And if you don't, then, you know, I'll have to be creative, think about how I can help, and I kind of want to, because I never wanted to be that, you know, the YouTubers that make lots of money and they just live in big houses. Like, I had a conversation with a real life friend, and I was telling him that I'm really not big on money. Like, money has never been something that I was after. I mean, it's kind of privileged, I guess, to say that, because I'm not in a situation where I need money to survive. But I never wanted to be rich. Like, I don't really care. I'm not really materialistic, but I guess I really want to be making money to be able to reuse that money and sort of do cool projects, maybe fund language-related things to make language more accessible. That would be in the long, long run. That would be nice. Like, I just want to be able to use money to do great things, you know, and not just buy shit, you know. Like, I'm really not fussed about having lots of belongings and clothes or whatever. Like, I'm not that kind of person. I tend to think like I'm quite a simple person. yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. Anyway, I'm going to move on to the next point. I'm sorry, I hope this video is not annoying, and if it gets 50 views, then I will get the hint. I promise I will not do that kind of video again. But there's people that ask me questions on Twitter, and the Jacady Chronicles asked me about personal growth, experience there, plans for the future. So I kind of talked about my experience there. I could expand on another video maybe in the future, but in terms of personal growth, one thing, I mean, I feel like I grew in many ways, but I feel like the best thing I've learned during my time in England is probably being more aware about issues such as racism, transgenderism, what's the noun? Anyway, and feminism, sexism, and things like that. And I know, I will get called woke probably. I don't know, I feel like the language community is very kind. I've never been called out for being, open about racism and things like that. But yeah, I enjoy, I don't know, I feel like people say, oh, you're woke, but I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being compassionate and trying to sort of like feel sympathy for minority groups which do suffer. And I am myself part of a minority. I'm gay. I don't really talk about it. I've never felt like this channel was a place for me to talk about these things. And I'm not saying that to put myself in the shoes of a victim, because I'm not a victim. Like in my everyday life, I mean, come on, I'm white. Like, I've got a French accent, I'm French, like I'm seen as prestigious because French is seen as fancy, so I can't really complain. But I think you can be in a position of like privilege to some extent. I mean, I don't know if I think I'm privileged now, but I think as a kid, and I talked about this in a video before, like growing up Portuguese in France was kind of shit in many ways, like, bullying and stuff. And I think that's sort of helped me to have some compassion. I really found it interesting to sort of, okay, if I had to be honest, if I could, I would love to have a channel where I can interview people from all walks of life. Like, I would love to hear about people, immigrating to another country, like talking to trans people, to gay people, everyone. Like, I just would find it so interesting. I love hearing about people's experiences. That's probably the thing. Like, I love to hear about the good things, the bad things, like what they've learned, like how they sort of developed as a person. I find these things fascinating. That's why I'm so much into personal development, because you can learn so much about yourself and life in general, and not in any objective way. It's all subjective because it's all, it's your experience, but I find it so interesting. So I feel like that answers the question about personal growth. I'm looking at my notes. Plans for the future. I think I kind of talked about it. I'm still planning on doing videos on YouTube. That's something that I'm not giving up on. I really love my channel. I am planning on doing a channel for people who want to learn European Portuguese, because I feel like there's next to no resources for European Portuguese. There's very little stuff. I don't even think there's a European Portuguese teacher like you would get in like other languages, like English with Lucy type of channel, like when they do grammar and vocab and stuff. Like, I don't think there's anything, or not enough at least, stuff for European Portuguese. That's something I would like to do, but again, that requires time, and we'll see if I actually go ahead with it. But I would very much like to. And any plans for the future? In my personal life, I would like to get into dancing. I've started this week. Actually, this week I've started doing Afrobeat lessons, and I really enjoy it. But aside from that, what I'm looking forward to when I'm back in France, someone asked. So I guess it's eating French food. I've been missing it a lot, and just seeing my friends and just Paris. Like, as much as there's lots of flaws in Paris, the fact that it's highly polluted and things like that, I really miss Paris. Like, the culture, like not just French culture, but also like having access to culture, like different people from different countries, and you can hear so many languages when you walk in Paris, and I love that, and I absolutely miss it. So that's one thing that I miss. But I'm also gonna miss that, my background, which you will not see anymore. That's going to be the last time you see it. I don't know, I never really sort of optimized it, but I kind of grew accustomed to it. I enjoy it. But hey, I don't know, I'm kind of excited about what my new background is gonna look like once I'm back in Paris. There's gonna be a lot of me working out how to make it look good, which in the first few videos might not look so great, but I'll do my best to make sure that it does eventually. And I'm gonna miss... What am I gonna miss? What else? I think I'm gonna miss speaking English on a daily basis, because I love speaking English. I'm gonna miss some of my friends for sure. I'm gonna miss my students a lot. It's gonna be weird because when I'm back in France, I don't think I will be teaching. I realized that I don't know if I want to be a teacher just now. I mean, I'm saying that, but I just started my holidays, and maybe in 2 months, after 2 months of holidays, I'll be like, oh, I miss teaching, I want to go back to teaching. So we'll see. That could change. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next few months where I'm going to be home and focusing on my YouTube, hopefully, and hopefully it will work out. And if it doesn't, I still have other plans. I also still want to go to Japan, but as you know, Japan's borders are closed right now, so can't go to Japan now. But I would like to teach English in Japan. Originally, I wanted to teach English. That was what I was studying English for. But you know, life decided otherwise, which is fine. You know, I'm quite happy that I taught French. That was a great experience for sure, and that gave me, and you know, that experience, I mean, will open a lot of doors for me in terms of teaching. So that's what I like about teaching, is that even if I don't love it, I mean, I'm saying I don't love it, it's not kind of true, because when I'm teaching, I'm so into teaching. Like, I get in the flow of things. I'm there, I show up. Like, I'm not saying that to boast, but I think my students like the energy I have in a classroom, because I'm kind of, I'm pretty much an introvert. I mean, I say introvert, but I got extrovert sort of moments in my life. And when I'm teaching, I'm an extrovert. I'm like super chatty, I laugh, I'm on it, like bam, bam, bam. And I love teaching for that, because when I start teaching a lesson, I just forget that time exists. Like, I don't pay attention to time anymore. And that's a great feeling. And if you can do a job that, you know, gets you into that flow, like, pursue that job. Like, it's great. You're onto something there, I think. Guys, I don't want to stop this video. I feel a bit sad. Not sad in a bad way. I think it's just I'm gonna miss it. Like, I'm more happy about the idea of being in France than being in England, if I was honest. But you know, it doesn't mean that I can't feel sad about the UK. All right, I think I should stop there. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have a good way to finish it. I don't want anyone to think that I'm sad or depressed or anything. I feel great. Like, it's just that this week has been really difficult with moving, and I'm doing it alone as well, because no one can really come to England to pick me up for many reasons, you know, mainly COVID. But yeah, all right. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was long and boring. If you didn't find it boring, then I'm glad. And yeah, I will see you next week. And hopefully next week, not hopefully, next week I will be in Paris. So I will see you later. Bye.